Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and this is the second episode of the three-part series where we look at one counter for every single hero. Last week I posted a video where we looked at one counter for every single DPS hero, and while DPS heroes could more or less be seen as quote-unquote the carry of the team, tanks could easily have that same limelight that DPS always gets whenever they're carrying the team. And boy, let me tell you, whenever there's an enemy tank that is shredding through your team, rolling you, and you don't know what to do, I wouldn't say it's a lot harder to counter them when compared to countering a DPS hero, but again, you just don't automatically think of a counter for that tank when compared to like Genji, who are you gonna play? A Pharaoh, who are you gonna play? A Soldier, who are you gonna play? You probably thought of some obvious counters. When there's an enemy Zarya, who are you gonna play? Now I'm not saying you're clueless just because you don't automatically think of every single counter for every single tank, but again, this is supposed to help all the people that don't know of the obvious counters, but to also like tell everyone that may know of some counters the reason why you're trying to counter the tanks. Because one thing that I mentioned in my how to counter DPS heroes is that sometimes a counter isn't always necessarily going after the kill. It's more or less trying to make them less effective. A perfect example of this is with Tracer. Before the Brigitte nerf, what you would do, you would play Brigitte obviously to kill the Tracer. Now that's not the case. Now you can't just instantly delete her, but you would still want to play Brigitte, all because, well, Tracer's main job as a flanker is to go after the secondary healer or just the squishy heroes. Well, if you're Brigitte, not only are you not going to be dying, but you possibly could kill Tracer, but you make Tracer less effective, meaning that she's going to have to go off and switch. And that same mentality could easily be applied to all these tanks who don't heavily rely on their primary form of fire to get kills, but rely on their abilities to protect the team, protect themselves, to move the point, to push the point, whatever the case may be. If you can make those abilities or make the hero ineffective, in my eyes, that's a counter. So now that we got that out of the way, now let's look at one counter for every single tank hero, and only one counter, because I don't want to overwhelm you with a bunch of heroes when in the heat of the moment, it's like, oh, well, I could do this, I could. No, you have a go-to hero, play that hero to take care of the problem. That could be the REINHARDT, that could be the WINSTON, or the first counter that we're going to be looking at, which is so many other people's counters, is going to be D.va. And the hero that I chose to counter D.va is going to be Zarya. So many people look at me funny when I say that Zarya is a good counter for D.va, but she heavily relies on a defense matrix to protect her from heroes like Soldier, Sombra, ROADHOG, whatever the case may be. Zarya doesn't care about the defense matrix. It goes right through it. Now, obviously, she can eat the grav, but a good Zarya is not going to let that happen. So yeah, Zarya is a good counter for D.va because D.va cannot protect herself from the Zarya beam. However, that's not the only reasons why she's a great counter. Another reason why I love Zarya as a counter for D.va is because D.va can charge up the Zarya with her rockets, with her bullets. If she's up close and personal, obviously she can shred through the D.va, but D.va's going to probably fire into the Zarya, which if she's smart enough, she's going to be able to bubble and build charge off of those big, heavy hitting rockets, meaning that she's not getting ultimate charge, she being the D.va, because, well, she's not hitting anything, and you're able to build your beam even bigger to shred the D.va even more. The last and I think most important reason why I think Zarya's a great counter for D.va is because the whole job of D.va is supposed to dive your back line, dive the Widowmaker, dive the Soldier, dive the Hanzo, dive the MCCREE, dive, and they don't have protection from the D.va unless you have a Zarya team bubble. So not only do you build a charge, build your beam from D.va diving them and shooting them, but you also give them protection. On top of that, you make the D.va a sitting duck, so now that you can focus that D.va, because let's say a D.va goes and dives the MCCREE and gets the kill. No one's going to be able to stop the D.va and possibly get her demacked. However, if you protect the MCCREE with the bubble, now both of you guys can focus the D.va and kill her. She's feeding at that point. But now let's move on to ORISA's counter. And ORISA isn't really a hero that you think too much of when you think of, oh my god, they're wrecking us. More or less, it's just because they're protecting their team too well. You gotta get rid of the shield, gotta get rid of the ORISA. So the counter that I chose for ORISA is gonna be Reaper. The first and obvious one, it's a tank. And also, Reaper isn't gonna be everybody's counter on this list, even though it kind of can be. But when it comes to ORISA, it's a big target for Reaper just to shred. She's not gonna be going anywhere. There's not a lot of ways to protect herself, even if it's like in a 1v1 battle. But on top of that, you're fighting an up close battle. And ORISA really isn't that good up close, assuming that the Reaper is going to be swaying back and forth. Okay, I'm over here. No, I'm over here. and on top of the, if he's all over the place, her projectile gun can't keep up with the Reaper. So she's not going to be able to kill Reaper, while Reaper is going to be able to kill ORISA. On top of that, you can easily burn the shield with Reaper, and you really shouldn't get pulled by the ORISA pull because you're a little bit faster than the ORISA ball, assuming that you can get away fast enough. So the way that I see it is that ORISA can't really beat Reaper, while Reaper should be able to easily beat ORISA. But now let's look at REINHARDT's counter, because this is an interesting counter, because if you're looking to counter him, it's not necessarily because he's smacking everyone on your team. It's not because he's laying in on you guys. No, it's probably because you're not able to touch anyone behind the shield. This is a case where a hero heavily relies on a shield. So you either got to get rid of the shield or you got to get rid of REINHARDT, which in a sense gets rid of the shield. But the counter that I went with for REINHARDT is going to be ASHE. Now, yes, you can easily use a Junkrat, but the reason why I like ASHE a little bit more is that you're able to still burn the shield. Yes, maybe not as quick as Junkrat, but from farther distances. So you have protection away from the team and you're still doing damage to the shield. Plus, on top of that, if you can aim the TNT well, if you're able to toss it far enough, not only can you burn the armor off REINHARDT, but also everyone in the back. So even if you're not burning the shield, you're still doing damage to the enemy team, to the enemy Zenyatta, to the enemy Mercy, to anyone that's laid behind the big REINHARDT shield. Along with burning the shield and burning the armor, Bob is an excellent way to try to deal with what REINHARDT's all about, protecting the team and keeping everyone together. So if everyone's behind the REINHARDT shield, which shouts out to you if you can get everyone on your team behind the shield. Not only can he go in there and distract the REINHARDT by either making him turn around or get shot by the Bob, but he can also toss everyone to the side, break up the composition. It's sort of like how Winston does it with his ultimate, how he can go in and just toss everyone. Here it is a little bit of a lighter version, but nonetheless, it's an extra man, extra distraction, and a way to just break up the composition. All right, on to ROADHOG's counter, super hard Reaper. Just use Reaper. I think it's pretty obvious here. With the recent buffs to MCCREE, maybe you can use MCCREE with the flash and fan the hammer, but the thing with MCCREE is that you can easily get hooked by the ROADHOG still, whereas with Reaper, yes, you're fighting up close, yes, you can still get hooked, yes, you can still die, but if you have your Wraith form, you should be able to get out of there. So you have ways to protect yourself from the ROADHOG. ROADHOG, he's a big old battery and a big health pack for you as Reaper. I think we all know that now. Now we're on to Winston's counter. MCCREE. MCCREE is Winston's counter. Now, yes, Reaper is probably a better counter than MCCREE, but there's a reason why I say MCCREE possibly could be better than Winston. Who can shred the bubble faster, Reaper or MCCREE? Well, fan the hammer, all you gotta do is and it's pretty much gone. Both heroes can take care of the Winston. Both can shred the Winston. And in fact, MCCREE can probably stop the Winston from jumping away. He has that ability to flash him and have that extra second to pop in more damage. Where Reaper, he just has the firepower. MCCREE has ways of dealing with many aspects of Winston. So that's why I went with MCCREE. But yes, you can use Reaper. I'm not saying no, Reaper is just as good, if not maybe even better. Now let's talk about Hammond's counter, because when Hammond first came out, I said that Reaper was going to be the best counter for Hammond, and he's still a good counter, but he's not the best counter, because I say that Mei is going to be a way better counter for Hammond, all because of how Hammond is played. So how Hammond plays is that he's going to grapple hook and dive into your back line, and maybe he gets a kill on the Zenyatta, maybe a kill on Mercy, whatever the case may be. He's going to pop his shield, maybe get a few more extra DPS in there, and then he's going to grapple hook out of there. He has an exit strategy. He goes in, dive, kill, gets out of there. That is how most people play Hammond. So that means he heavily relies on that exit strategy. He heavily relies on the fact that he's so mobile to get out of there and not die. If he doesn't have that exit strategy, or if he's slowed down, he's going to die. Mei does both of those things. Now, I might be the minority out of here because I'm able to stop most people whenever I play Mei, but whenever there's a Hammond on the field, I know he is dead because he's going to try to get out of there. Nope. I have my wall ability to stop him in his tracks. On top of that, if he's not able to get his grapple, he's still gonna try to roll away. Well, he can't roll fast enough because I'm able to freeze him. And that means your whole entire team have to go and focus him. So you as Mei, you're not automatically gonna kill him. And you still need to have a MCCREE, a Soldier, or a Reaper in this case. But you're making him ineffective because he relies so much on that ability to get out of there. Okay, now let's talk about Zarya's counter. Now, I'm gonna be honest, guys, I couldn't think of one hard-hitting counter for Zarya. When you think of a hard-hitting counter for Pharah, you think of Soldier. When you think of ROADHOG, you think of Reaper. When you think of Zarya, it's pretty tough. However, I went with Pharah to counter Zarya. However, you can still make Zarya effective. That's the worst part about so many quote-unquote counters for Zarya. If you think of a Junkrat counter, now Junkrat can be a counter for Zarya if you can time out the bubble right. All because, well, she doesn't have a lot of exit strategies away from the grenades that are coming to you, and she also only has 400 HP. So, you know, Junkrat's not the worst counter. You can still kill the Zarya if she's being too aggressive. However, you're going to make her even more effective if you're not careful with the grenades. So that's why people argue, no, Junkrat's not a counter, but he can be. Same thing with Pharah. You can easily charge the Zarya up if you're not careful. However, she's not able to touch you. You're able just to fire rockets into her. Plus, with your boop ability, you're able to get her into positions that she's not comfortable with and focus her. If Zarya didn't have that self bubble, there'd be so many counters for her. Roadhog could easily be a counter, but since you charge her up with your scrap gun and since she can bubble herself from your hook, you're not going to be effective with Roadhog. Reaper could maybe be seen as a counter, but she's not the thickest tank in the whole entire game. Plus, you can easily charge Zarya up if you're not careful with Reaper. You just have to really look at the Zarya and take this L. No, I'm just kidding. If you're good with Roadhog, Reaper, Junkrat, Pharah, you can easily counter the Zarya. Just get ready to kill her right away when she's being aggressive. Because one thing that I do whenever there's a god like Zarya on the enemy team is that if she's being aggressive, and I mean heavily aggressive to the point where if we pop her bubble, she's not going to be able to live because we're going to focus her. And that's exactly what I do. Yes, I do charge the Zarya up a lot of the time, but it's all in hopes of killing that aggressive Zarya. Some might say I'm stupid for that, but if I'm going to capture the second point of Volskaya Industry and we're about to win the game, I don't care about charging the Zarya up anymore because she's gonna die, she's not gonna have that charge anymore, and she's not gonna have the graph because the game's gonna be over. I would rather take the kill while charging Zarya up than to wait for her bubble for possibly more stall time for them and the team to get back and us to lose the game. So Junkrat, Pharah, Reaper, Roadhog, whatever the case may be, just be careful. But anyway guys, that is one counter for every single tank hero. Hopefully this video did help you. It seemed like you guys really loved the very first video, and I'll soon enough make one counter for every single healer video. Probably in the next week and a half, 2 weeks or something. I am going on vacation. By the time you're watching this, I am on vacation. But anyway guys, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch videos to come, and bye.